So Jeff, tell we're at the south.
We're at the south entrance. So the
Okay.
main construction entrance, which is the guard shack there with the guard, is he controls all the site traffic on and off the site. So
Okay.
our main construction entrance is on Riverside Drive, south of the project, and so we're headed north on Riverside Drive now.
Day, but does it, now that it's underway, and is it a little surreal, or is it, I mean, or do you even step back ever and think, man, this thing's actually getting built, or
Yeah.
do you have time to do that, or not really?
It's a pretty rewarding experience to see the years and years of planning and talking about all of this coming to fruition. It's a massive undertaking, and when you're planning it, and you've got a model or you've got a map laying out on a board table and you're talking about it, it's hard to kind of understand the magnitude of it.
Right.
But when you come out on site and you see dump trucks that are the size of like mining dump trucks that are carting soil on and off the project, and you see these large, I mean, look how many pieces of cranes and equipment. We probably have, I don't know, 55 or 60 different pieces of equipment that are out here, massively getting things underway.
Right.
So it's pretty sobering when you look at this and see.
North edge of the park.
The
right?
north edge of the
and
park.
We're heading east.
We're heading east. The lodge will be here on the right, and if you look, we're starting to, and we'll get out and look around, but we're starting to do the pads for the buildings. So the dirtwork contractor, Sherwood Construction, is smoothing out the pad sites for us.
Okay. And back here, what's that we're coming up to here?
Okay, so this is the back of the property, and the back of the property, it slopes and goes up.
Right.
And so we're going to be going up, and this goes up to the Midland Valley Trail level. So, so this is kind of the incline to kind of go up. But you can see here they've got all the forms put in, and the rebar you can see, and they've poured these the sidewalls to the stormwater drain, and then they'll be pouring the cap across the top. But it's all formed here and then poured.
Will the road you talked about, there's going to be a parking lot on the north. Is that right on the north? Where are the parking lots?
Well, the parking lots run on the north side, and it curves. The parking lot will curve right around here, and then run all along the eastern, heading south. Kind of this eastern edge where the Midland Valley Trail is. So it wraps kind of parallel to the Midland Valley Trail all the way around to back where the boathouse is. So it's not a large Walmart type parking lot. It's a driveway with parking on both sides, and we kind of disperse the parking throughout the park, so there's no real big concentration of parking. And that way it fits more into the landscape, and it allows people to park and enter the park kind of where they're wanting to go. They can park adjacent to wherever they're trying to view.
Do you know if, I know that one of the things that is being pitched for one of the vision programs is a bike share. Do you know if the park will be part of that?
Yeah.
So is it something you're at least discussing, or do you know where you're at with that?
Sure. We really want to work with having a bike rental program for recreational use. Whether it's partnering with the Warren Foundation on the existing bike share program within the river parks. That's right. Or trying to partner with INCOG and the citizens on the bike share program that they're putting in. There's difference between commuter bikes and recreational bikes, and so I'm not sure how those two will interweave, but we'll definitely.
It's an element you hope to have
in the park. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're in front of a big hole.
Big hole. So this is new on the site. They started work early this week on it. They're actually getting ready. This is the lower pad elevation for the lodge. So
really?
We hadn't done any work on the building pad sites, and Sherwood has started to get the pond outline done. They're digging out the pond, but also we need to get the building pad sites started. So There's just a ton of trees that we had on the site that were damaged in the ice storm. There was even some, if you remember, there was a tornado that came through the Brookside area. There was, our arborist said that the tops of the trees had some wind damage from that tornado that came through, which was, you know, a long time ago. But we really took an inventory of all those trees, measured the health, and looked at, will these trees be around, you know, long term? And that was really the litmus, because nothing would be worse than losing the tree. And so we want to really take care of those new construction.
Have there been any surprises so far? I mean, I know you did a lot of vetting before this thing broke ground, but any surprises in the first few months of construction?
You know, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's always little things that pop up, but quite frankly, I mean, things have run really smoothly. You know, the dirt work, Sherwood received the dirt work contract, and they, you know, they really specialize in that. They have a lot of their own equipment. You know, they analyze the job really well, but they've really made good progress, all things considered. But nothing that's really popped up that we're like really didn't anticipate, which goes to really understanding the job and understanding how to get it implemented. So,
and you guys, I mean, there's still planning work that goes on. Talk about the Tuesday meeting. Explain to people what the Tuesday meeting that you have, I believe, every Tuesday.
Yes, we have every Tuesday at 10 a.m. The contractor, the building architects, the landscape architects, MBVA, all of the Kaiser Foundation team, the city of Tulsa, we all jump on a call. So there could be and the engineering group, HNTB, is involved in the call, and we just basically have a large agenda that we go through, and the call can last as little as an hour and a half and as long as 3.5 or 4 hours. And then we have a lot of other calls spaced during the week too. We're working right now on the budget for the project, and so we have a value engineering process that we're working on. Again, looking at the design and looking at the cost of construction and trying to come up with more economical ways to accomplish the same design that we want. So there's a lot of interactive work between the architects and the builders and the foundation, and, you know, troubleshooting and trying to cost reduce and value engineer. So because we do have a budget that we have to build the park in, it's not unlimited. So so we have those calls intermixed, and then a lot of things pop up, you know, that we have to attack and discuss, and so there's calls that are set up. But as construction has started, the tempo of conversation, I won't say it's increased, it's stayed about the same pace, but we have a lot more frequent conversations than waiting week to week.
Because those Tuesday meetings, you're just trying to coordinate all the different people, right?
That's right, yeah, and a lot of coordination right now with the city contractors. You know, we talked about the sanitary line. We're, you know, working with One Oak on the, or One Gas on the gas line. Coordinating with Southwestern Bell on the legacy telephone line, Cox for the Tulsa Public Schools line, and the city with all the stormwater projects. We have a new water line that's going to be put in that the city's working on. So a lot of coordination with other people that are doing work on the site, and that all is part of that call. And then there's just a lot of coordination on the stuff that we're responsible for. So, and the schedule, you know, we have to take all the city schedule with all their work, we have to take our work schedule, and we have to put them together, and everything has to be synchronized. And if anyone falls behind or gets ahead, it impacts every part of the schedule. So that a lot has to be discussed in those meetings as well.
Okay.
So it's pretty involved. I mean, it is, and really the best way to keep everything moving is good communication. So you got to get everyone together, and you got to be talking about stuff.
And as far as the major elements of the park that the public is been well informed about, those haven't changed. I mean,
no. I mean, you know, we have a lot of things we're talking about, but no, the basic design of what we've laid out is being built.
Now you've got 2 boys, right?
I do.
Do they realize you're building a park, and have they been down here? I mean, do they have a sense of what you're doing?
Yeah, well, yes, they do. They're 6 and 7, going on 7 and 8, and the thing they see the most is my hard hat in the back of my truck. And they love to play with it. They understand we're building a park. you know, it was really funny on groundbreaking day. We had that giant sandbox, and after the groundbreaking was over and I walked off the stage, my littlest one came up and said, "Dad, thank you so much. You guys have built the best park ever." And you know, all the activities and things for the kids at the groundbreaking plus the sandbox, he was in heaven. I kind of joked with George and said, you know, we could save a lot of money. And it was a good chuckle, but yeah, they understand and they've seen our model. They've been on site. They've run around a little bit. They want to come down and see the dump trucks. These dump trucks, we actually have, gosh, there's almost, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them now. The city has some of them down here, city subcontractors, and our group moving heavy dirt. But you know, these tires are like 6 feet, 7 feet tall, and they want to come down and see that. Plus all the equipment, you know, kids like that stuff. So. Again, the storm outflow here, and that'll eventually go across Riverside Drive here and punch straight out into the Arkansas River.
Okay, so now we're getting back onto
Riverside Drive. Yeah, this is roads are changing. We used to have a construction road that went right through there, but now the city, they've got a contractor that's working here on the south end of the site for the Travis neighborhood outfall, and they're gonna, if you notice, they're right here, just shy of 31st Street, and they're going to be taking that stormwater outfall and taking it straight out across Riverside Drive here. This is a really, I mean, a lot of people don't realize, but 31st Street, the parkland is really narrow here. The parking lot where the city-county parking lot was, that's a real narrow area, but everything kind of narrows land-wise here. And then all of the stormwater, all of the water, all of the electric, the gas lines, the sanitary lines, they all basically run parallel in here, and then they go up 31st Street. So it's kind of like the nerve center of all the utility work that fits in right here. And so there'll be a major excavation project here to get in all these utilities.
So that really hasn't, I guess it hasn't begun.
It hasn't begun yet, where they all cross each other. And that's all getting, if you notice, the sanitary lines coming north from the south. You've got the stormwater running from the north to the south, and then it's going to be going across. You've got One Gas building their line. So everything is going to end up crossing. So there's a lot of coordination with the utilities right in this area, because everyone's really right on top of each other. And the city's putting in a really neat new duct bank to run utilities. So you can run electric lines, cable lines, but they'll run this duct bank that's got positions where they can run various lines for various utilities along the western edge of the Riverside Drive, and that has to be installed too. So a lot of stuff.
That's crazy.
Stuff. Now, John, I wanted to drive you over onto the old Sundance apartment site.
Oh, that'd be great.
We store all of our soil, our topsoil. So the very top, basically 18 inches of soil. There's organic matter, a couple of inches, 3 inches of organic on the top, and then there's 18 inches of topsoil, which is the most nutrient-rich part of the soil. But we've stored all of that here on the Sundance site. And Kelco Construction out of New Jersey is our contractor, our landscape and horticultural contractor. They're going to be setting up a soil amendment mixing basically production facility. They'll take all this topsoil and they'll mix it up with nutrient matter and get it all mixed up. But right now, if you'll notice, the topsoil is all on storage here. It's only partial part of this topsoil that we have. But notice all the pipes that are sticking out. We've aerated it so that oxygen can still get in and the soil doesn't decay. And then we just planted grass seed across the whole top. Again, a lot of water, a lot of grass seed, trying to get everything to just stay right where it is. When rain comes and that sort of thing, we want to keep all the soil.
So that soil will be used in particular parts of the park, or will it be used throughout it? Throughout.
It'll be mixed into different grades of horticultural soil and be then put in different parts for different parts of the gardens and the tree areas, and
just so
it'll all come
things
back
grow
out.
Properly.
That's
Is that
right.
The idea?
Grow, yes, and to think of it as going to Home Depot or Lowe's and buying, you know, Miracle Grow soil. Right. You know, it has a lot of nutrients in it, a lot of fertilizers and such. All of our soil will be all natural. There won't be any pesticides or any chemical fertilizers, so it's all natural. And so there's just a lot of mixing to get that high grade soil, but it's a science. You know, a lot of people don't realize the science. We have soil consultants that all they do is study and engineer plant soils, and of course the architects are really attentive to it because you know that their entire design is based on things growing. Yeah. And so they're gonna, you know, the base of the soil. Here's the water truck.
I was gonna say, there's a water truck.
Yeah, an enormous water truck, and you see these big dump trucks. So he's running around. He's again keeping everything tamped down. As you can see with just the little dust that's popped up, we don't have a lot of wind today. But if the wind's blowing, you know, it moves. Yeah, south winds, which we have a lot of predominant south winds. So we're going across the temporary bridge that was built across Crow Creek, and you can see we're right across the top of Crow Creek. We fenced off Crow Creek and we put up barriers, soil barriers, to keep all of our soil out of the Crow Creek area. And then this is just our what we call base fill, and this whole site right now, you know, notice it's about 20 feet high. So we built the soil up here with a big large berm, and those dump trucks are coming over here and dumping that fill material. So this is all the material that's coming out in the pond, and this material is being stored over here and graded and compacted, and then eventually it'll be taken back and used to build up a lot of the landscape berms. You can see these big dump trucks here and the graders.
How many parks did you visit before you know, in coming to put this thing together?
Gosh,
roughly, you know,
we probably visited, I'd say, 24 parks and children's museums across the United States over basically 3 years. I mean, I still go and visit whenever I'm in a town. I was just in New York, and I went down. Brooklyn Bridge Park is getting ready to open up a whole new area of the park that NVVA has designed, and I took a behind the construction site tour, and you know, again, looking at their plant rails, looking at how they did their trails, looking at their plantings. Kelco Construction actually managed that construction project, and they're going to be doing our horticulture and landscape here. So, you know, just at almost every phase of the project, continually visiting and seeing what others have done and how it's all being put together and built really kind of helps in the management of this project. So it's all been real helpful. So we're back on the very south end, and we've come off the Legacy Sundance site, and we're back to the south gate. So that concludes our tour.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it very much.